The massive alien ships descended through Earth's atmosphere, their metallic hulls gleaming like dark mirrors against the morning sky. Commander J. Park watched from the Global Defense platform, his hands gripping the edge of the monitoring station. The collective had arrived, and everyone knew this was humanity's moment of truth. Massive vessels cast long shadows over major cities: New York, Tokyo, London, Beijing. Each metropolis stood silent, waiting. The aliens believed this would be a simple conquest, a routine planetary acquisition. They were spectacularly wrong. The first transmission came through standard communication channels. A deep, resonant voice spoke in perfect English, almost mocking in its confidence. "Inhabitants of Earth, your civilization has been evaluated. Surrender is your only logical option." Hana Kim, seated in the underground command center, traced her finger across holographic data streams. Something about the alien communication felt rehearsed, calculated. She recognized it as a psychological tactic designed to intimidate, but humanity had faced worse threats. Military installations worldwide went into high alert. Soldiers, technicians, and strategists moved with practiced precision. Unlike previous conflicts between human nations, this was different. This was about survival. The alien ships began deploying smaller crafts, sleek and predatory. They moved with mathematical precision, positioning themselves over critical infrastructure: power grids, communication towers, government buildings, all potential first targets. In a small research facility outside Seoul, Sung Wei watched the live feeds. He was analyzing the alien technology's electromagnetic signatures, searching for vulnerabilities. Most saw the massive ships as invincible. Sung saw potential weaknesses. "They're methodical," Sung muttered to himself, "but predictable." The first weapons discharge happened over the Pacific Ocean. A brilliant blue-white energy beam cut through the atmosphere, vaporizing a section of ocean. It was a demonstration of power, a warning. The collective wanted to show humanity the futility of resistance. But humanity had always been good at proving predictions wrong. Local military units began responding. Fighter jets scrambled, not with an expectation of victory, but with a determination to understand the enemy. Satellite networks captured every movement, every energy signature. In command centers across continents, strategists like Hana Kim were already adapting. They weren't just defending, they were studying, learning, preparing to counterattack. The alien ships maintained a calculated distance, close enough to intimidate, far enough to prevent immediate engagement. They were waiting, perhaps expecting mass panic, total surrender. Instead, they found a species preparing to fight. Civilian populations didn't collapse into chaos. Communication networks spread information rapidly. People understood the stakes. This wasn't about individual countries anymore. This was about Earth. Factories that once produced consumer goods began retooling. Industrial capabilities that had been dormant suddenly hummed with renewed purpose. Technological innovations accelerated at an unprecedented rate. The collective's initial scans had missed something crucial: human adaptability. J. Park watched the developing scenario with calm concentration. Years of military training had prepared him for high-pressure situations, but nothing could have truly prepared anyone for first contact. "They think this will be easy," he said quietly to his team. "They have no idea what's coming." The alien ships continued their methodical positioning. Energy weapons charged, ready to demonstrate technological superiority. They expected terror, submission. What they would receive was something entirely different. As the first day of invasion concluded, the world had transformed. No shots had been definitively fired, no major cities destroyed. But something fundamental had changed. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe, and they were definitely not going to be easy prey. The collective had made a critical miscalculation. They saw humans as a primitive species, technologically inferior, psychologically fragile. They would soon learn the truth. Humans didn't just survive. They adapted. They fought. And most importantly, they never, ever gave up. The world changed in hours. Alien ships hovered like dark predators, but humanity's response was nothing like the invaders expected. Sung Wei worked frantically in his small research lab. Computer screens flickered with alien communication patterns. He discovered something remarkable. The alien communication systems had a fundamental weakness. Their technological network relied on precise mathematical frequencies, which meant they were predictable. "They think like machines," Sung whispered, "but we think like humans." Military units across different continents started sharing unconventional strategies. A team in Brazil discovered that certain radio frequencies could disrupt alien communication signals. Another group in Canada developed a jamming technique using modified satellite technology. The collective's invasion plan assumed human technology was primitive. They were wrong. Yoon Park, a young engineer, modified industrial laser equipment to create electromagnetic pulse generators. These devices could temporarily disable alien technological systems. Her team worked around the clock, turning everyday technology into potential weapons. In cities worldwide, something unexpected happened. Instead of panic, people organized. Community centers became emergency communication hubs. Engineers, programmers, and ordinary citizens shared information rapidly. One small incident revealed humanity's true strength. An alien reconnaissance drone attempted to scan a neighborhood in Mumbai. Local teenagers using modified wireless networks not only tracked the drone but successfully hijacked its navigation system. The drone crashed into a nearby river, a symbol of human ingenuity. Military strategists realized quickly that conventional warfare wouldn't work. The aliens had superior firepower and advanced technology, but humans had something more powerful: adaptability and collective intelligence. Hana Kim developed a unique communication strategy. Instead of fighting the aliens directly, she proposed disrupting their information networks. Small teams would spread misinformation, create confusion, and make the invasion force question their own intelligence. "We don't need to defeat them militarily," Hana explained to her team. "We need to make them doubt themselves." Schools and universities transformed overnight. Engineering programs became emergency training centers. Students who once studied theoretical physics now applied their knowledge to understanding alien technology. The collective watched in growing confusion. Their initial scans showed a species that should have been easily conquered. Instead, they faced an adaptable, rapidly evolving opponent. Sung Wei's breakthrough came unexpectedly. By analyzing alien communication frequencies, he developed a method to not just jam their signals but potentially send false information back to their command centers. "Imagine," he told his colleagues, "we can make them believe anything we want." Global internet networks became unexpected weapons. Hackers, programmers, and communication experts collaborated in ways never seen before. National boundaries disappeared as humanity united against a common threat. Military units started receiving strange reports. Alien drones would suddenly change course. Communication systems would go silent. The invasion force began experiencing unexplained technical failures. The collective's commanders grew frustrated. Their perfect, mathematically calculated invasion was becoming increasingly chaotic. One alien communication intercepted by Hana's team revealed their growing confusion. The humans are not responding according to predictive models. Cities transformed. Factories that once produced consumer goods now manufactured defensive equipment. Ordinary people became extraordinary. Engineers, communication experts, strategic thinkers. J. Park watched these developments with growing pride. Humanity wasn't just resisting, they were fighting back in ways the aliens could never understand. "We are not just fighting," he told his team. "We are teaching them a lesson about what it means to be human." The resistance wasn't about weapons. It was about spirit, creativity, and an unbreakable will to survive. The collective had made a critical mistake. They saw humans as a target. Humans saw an opportunity to show the universe who they really were. The invasion was no longer simple. The resistance had begun. The world transformed faster than anyone could have imagined. Alien technology, once considered impossible to understand, became humanity's greatest weapon. Yoon Park's research team worked in a converted warehouse outside Seoul. Pieces of captured alien equipment covered long metal tables. What seemed like incomprehensible technology just weeks ago now began to make sense. We're not just copying, Yoon told her team. We're reimagining. Every broken drone, every fragment of alien equipment became a learning opportunity. High school. Students worked alongside quantum physicists. Computer programmers collaborated with military engineers. The traditional boundaries of scientific research vanished overnight. Sung Wei discovered something extraordinary. The alien communication systems had a fundamental flaw. They relied on predictive algorithms that couldn't account for human creativity. Where alien technology followed strict mathematical patterns, human innovation introduced beautiful chaos. A breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A group of teenage programmers in Rio de Janeiro developed a virus that could infiltrate alien computer systems. It didn't destroy their technology, it confused it. The virus introduced random variables that made alien defense systems malfunction. The collective's military leadership began receiving increasingly strange reports. Their most advanced drones would suddenly change course. Weapon systems would activate without command. Communication networks became unreliable. Military bases around the world transformed into technology development centers. Factories that once produced cars and electronics now created hybrid human-alien technology. Every captured piece of equipment became a puzzle to be solved, a challenge to be understood. Hana Kim's strategic team worked on psychological technological warfare. They weren't just trying to match alien technology. They wanted to make the aliens question their own superiority. One remarkable invention came from a research team in Canada. They developed a device that could temporarily disrupt alien energy shields. It wasn't powerful enough to destroy their technology, but it created windows of vulnerability. The global scientific community united like never before. Language barriers disappeared. Countries that were once rivals now shared research in real time. The alien invasion had done what decades of diplomacy could not. It made humanity truly collaborative. Ordinary people became extraordinary. A retired electrician in Mumbai discovered a way to modify satellite communication equipment. A high school physics class in New York developed a method to track alien energy signatures. The collective's commanders grew increasingly frustrated. Their invasion, once considered a simple planetary acquisition, had become a complex nightmare. Intercepted. Alien communications revealed their growing concern. The humans are evolving faster than our predictive models. One transmission read. Yoon Park's team made a breakthrough that would change everything. They discovered how to not just understand alien technology, but to modify it. A captured alien communication device was transformed into a powerful jamming weapon. We're not just defending, Yoon explained. We're learning to speak their technological language. Military strategists realized the true power wasn't in matching alien technology, but in understanding its fundamental limitations. Human creativity could do something alien algorithms could never achieve: think unpredictably. Sung Wei developed a theory that would become legendary. Human technology wasn't about perfect systems, but about adaptable intelligence. Where alien technology followed strict rules, human technology could break those rules. The world watched as humanity transformed. Cities that once seemed vulnerable now bristled with modified defenses. Ordinary communication networks became potential weapons. Every piece of technology became a potential tool of resistance. The collective had made a critical mistake. They saw humans as a primitive species. Instead, they faced a civilization capable of rapid, creative transformation. J. Park watched these developments with a sense of growing hope. The invasion was no longer about survival. It was about proving humanity's potential to the universe. We are not just fighting, he told his team. We are showing them who we really are. The technological revolution had begun, and humanity was just getting started. The battle shifted. It was no longer about weapons or technology. It became a war of minds. Hana Kim understood something profound about the alien collective. They believed in perfect systems, mathematical predictions, and logical outcomes. Humans They lived for the unexpected. Her team developed a strategy that would change everything. They wouldn't just fight the aliens, they would make them question their entire invasion. Global communication networks became weapons. Social media platforms, once used for sharing pictures and thoughts, transformed into sophisticated psychological operation centers. Every message, every shared piece of information became a potential tool of warfare. Sung Wei created communication viruses that did something remarkable. Instead of destroying alien systems, they introduced confusion. Alien communication networks would receive conflicting information, random data streams that made no logical sense. One intercepted alien transmission revealed their growing frustration. Human communication patterns are unpredictable. Military units around the world started using unconventional tactics. They would broadcast false information, create fake military movements, and generate complex misinformation campaigns. The goal wasn't to defeat the aliens physically, but to break their psychological confidence. A team in Brazil discovered that playing specific sound frequencies could disrupt alien communication rhythms. Another group in India found ways to introduce emotional complexity into their communication signals, something the mathematical aliens couldn't comprehend. Jay Park coordinated these efforts from the Global Defense Center. "We're not just fighting," he told his team. "We're teaching them about human complexity." The collective had studied human behavior through mathematical models. They understood statistics, predicted responses, calculated likely outcomes. What they didn't understand was human unpredictability. Yoon Park's technology team developed holographic communication devices that could generate multiple simultaneous narratives. To human observers, these seemed like normal communication. To alien systems, they were psychological labyrinths. Schools and universities became unexpected weapon centers. Students learned not just about technology, but about psychological strategy. Young programmers developed communication algorithms designed to introduce maximum confusion. One remarkable operation involved creating thousands of fake communication channels. These channels would transmit seemingly important information, then suddenly change or disappear. The alien systems designed for perfect information processing became overwhelmed. The psychological warfare had layers. It wasn't just about confusing alien communication. It was about making them question their entire invasion strategy. Intercepted alien discussions revealed their growing uncertainty. Human responses do not match any known behavioral model, one transmission noted. Community centers worldwide became communication training grounds. People learned how to share information strategically, how to create narratives that would confuse and destabilize the alien communication networks. Sung Wei's most brilliant invention was a communication virus that could generate emotional complexity. It wasn't just about sending information, it was about sending information that felt unpredictably human. The collective had studied human behavior through cold mathematical lenses. They saw patterns, predicted responses, calculated likely outcomes. What they didn't understand was human spirit, the ability to change, to adapt, to surprise. Military strategists realized something profound. Physical weapons were important, but the real battle was happening in communication networks, in the space between logic and creativity. Hana Kim's team introduced something the aliens had never encountered: organized randomness, communication, strategies that followed no predictable pattern, that changed constantly, that introduced emotional complexity. Global networks became a massive, distributed psychological operation. Every message, every communication became a potential weapon. The line between information and warfare disappeared. The aliens had expected a simple invasion. Instead, they found themselves fighting something they could never truly understand: human creativity. "We are not just defending," Jay Park told his team. "We are showing them the true meaning of intelligence." Hana Kim stood in the Global Command Center, watching the alien fleet's communication systems slowly collapse. Months of psychological warfare had taken their toll. The collective's once perfect invasion plan had become a complex nightmare of confusion and uncertainty. Sung Wei's communication viruses had done more than disrupt alien networks. They had introduced something the aliens could never understand: emotional complexity, unpredictability, human spirit. The alien commander's final transmission revealed their complete breakdown. These humans, they are not a species. They are a force. Yoon Park's technological innovations had transformed every piece of human infrastructure into a potential weapon. Satellites, communication networks, even everyday electronics became part of a massive, distributed defense system. One by one, alien ships began to malfunction, not through direct attack, but through a complex web of psychological and technological disruption. Their perfect mathematical systems couldn't handle human creativity. J. Park watched the developing scenario with calm concentration. This wasn't just a victory. It was a statement about what humanity could achieve when united. The collective had made a critical mistake. They saw humans as a target. Instead, they found a civilization capable of transforming every challenge into an opportunity. Global communication networks lit up, not with messages of fear, but with messages of hope. Communities that were once divided now stood together. The invasion had done what years of diplomacy could not. It had made humanity truly united. Alien ships began to retreat, not because of overwhelming force, but because they had been psychologically defeated. Their invasion plan, once considered a simple planetary acquisition, had become a complex nightmare. Scientific research centers around the world celebrated. What had started as a desperate defense had become a moment of incredible human potential. Every captured piece of alien technology became a learning opportunity. The final confrontation happened not on a battlefield, but in communication networks. Human creativity had overwhelmed alien mathematical precision. Intercepted alien discussions revealed their complete confusion. The humans do not fight like any known species. They are unpredictable. Hana Kim's strategic team had transformed psychological warfare into an art form. They didn't just defend, they taught the aliens a lesson about human potential. Schools and universities became legendary. The students who had helped develop communication strategies would be remembered as heroes. Young programmers, engineers, ordinary citizens had become extraordinary. The collective's invasion force began a systematic withdrawal. Their perfect mathematical models had failed completely. Humanity had shown something profound. True intelligence isn't about predictability. It's about adaptability. J. Park's final message to the retreating alien fleet was simple. We are not just a species, we are potential. Global celebrations erupted, but this wasn't just a victory against an alien invasion. It was a moment of human unity, of understanding what humanity could truly achieve when working together. Sung Wei looked at the complex communication networks they had developed. What had started as a defense strategy had become something more, a demonstration of human creativity. The alien invasion had transformed humanity. Countries that were once rivals now stood together. Scientific communities that were once competitive now shared information freely. Yoon Park's research teams began studying the captured alien technology, not to copy, but to understand, to learn, to grow. The final transmission from the alien fleet was a message of reluctant respect. Humans are not a conquest. They are a civilization. Hana Kim understood the true victory. It wasn't about defeating the aliens. It was about showing the universe who humans really were. As the last alien ships disappeared from Earth's orbit, humanity looked to the stars, not with fear but with curiosity. Not as a species waiting to be conquered, but as a civilization ready to explore.